Hey, this is Aaron with Scalability, and welcome to Freedom Fridays, where I believe that God created for 6 days, and then He set everything on autopilot so He could spend the rest of eternity in relationship with us. And I simply think, what if we kind of model that in our own businesses? What if we leverage technology and automation and systems in our businesses and our lives so that we could spend our time in relationship with God and with people instead of running around doing busy work? It may be just a funny idea, but I think it's something cool that we can try to model. And so with scalability, we want to make sure we don't just sell you software, but we help you win. We help you implement it in your business. And I've seen so many people get stuck and hung up on systems and tech and automation instead of going out and actually making money, closing deals, getting it working in their business, and or sacrificing time with family to be able to spend time in their systems and software. And so every Friday I go live for Scalability subscribers to join me, and we do live Q&A, live builds to basically help you make this work for you and your business. And so we're going to let a few people in here. We got people waiting in the waiting room. We're going to go ahead and let people in and just dive into some live Q&A and see how we can help serve everybody this week. So as people start jumping in here, if you guys are following along, watching live on YouTube, feel free to put all your questions in the comments and we will definitely get to your comments as well. But as always, for you guys jumping in, thanks for joining me. And this is open forum, so feel free to unmute and say hi. Catch me up on you guys. It's been a few weeks.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
Inger, there we
still,
go.
yeah, okay. I'm still tweaking my website, and I just watched someone called Tomei is leading Creative to Thrive, and he's working with the creatives of all kinds of people, from sculptures to paintings, teachers, singers, whatever. So
Okay.
he's a coach too. So I got some
Okay.
feedback. I just watched it because I sent it in, and it was a review that he did last night as I was sleeping. So I just watched what he had to say about it. So I just got some feedback on my website.
Good.
So I'm waiting for because I want to have fixed a launching date for my book. I'm
Okay.
waiting for Joseph Peck or someone there that could help me to have this date for the launching from the website. So
I
yeah,
got
so
you.
that's what I've been working. So I've been tweaking the website,
Okay.
put it in pictures, and yeah,
Making progress. That's a good thing.
yeah.
Are you hung up on anything? Anything that I can directly help you with or serve you with this week?
Since I am launching, I'm not sure what Sean or Roger has done in the backgrounds. I might go into that because there will be a launching, and then there will be uh, this offer
Mhm.
of my book that is
Yep.
sold from my website. So perhaps I need to more contact them
Yep.
because I'm not sure. Perhaps they have
Yeah.
done something that I don't know about yet.
Gotcha. Understood. Yep. If they're working on it, they're going to be the ones to like dial it in for you. So that's good. Well, that's good that I see you moving forward. You as being the business owner, even if you got guys building stuff for you, and this is good for everybody, I want you guys to learn how to like run your businesses like businesses, right? And if God gave you a ministry, a business, I believe we've been called to multiply it. And so I'm always going to like kind of push you to like, how do you look at it like a business and how do you actually grow it, manage it, move it forward? So make sure you're staying on top of your people and make sure like, even as people build stuff for you, that you learn what they built, right? So like when they give you your stuff, make sure you're clear on how you're doing it from start to finish so that you guys can continue to like do the work you need to maintain it and actually grow it after they turn it over to you. Because having people is all part of growing an actual business. In the beginning, it's just you, but there's going to be contractors and then people that work for you eventually. So just stay on top of them, set your deadlines, and hold people accountable to it.
Yeah. Well, I was starting to watch the video that you sent with an email. I think it was from last week, and you're creating a funnel. and I stopped because it was a little bit late, so I thought I'm not sure how to build that. So that I guess is one of the things that I need to ask them if they have made something on that, or that is something I need to have built, because
Gotcha.
I'm not sure if even though you have put the stages very clearly, but still, as I am a very green newbie at this, so I'm not sure if I can make it or not. So yeah, but there's just one question that
Yeah.
I came to mind, because they were sharing when I showed the screen for identity in Christ. I remember that I was talking about to Roger and Shane about, because I don't want to, well, to sell in a way when I'm the part of the ministry, when teaching and preaching, that people coming into my website to see, okay, she's teaching on that, and yes, I can contact her. But so I don't want to have that very, very selling, just flashing out.
Hmm.
But he did mention concerning that. So if I could do it in a more discreet way, I might put it in. But what are your thoughts on that?
On whether you should be preaching and selling at the same time?
Well, my website is a combination of both. It's selling books, but also a contact, a landing site for preaching and teaching. So,
Mhm.
so I'm not sure how to combine those things and
Yep.
not showing off in
Yep.
a way.
It's a good question. And honestly, I think a lot of it is just our worldly conditioning by the people and the culture around us. Is like, and for example, my wife and I sold out and went into missions work in 2011, right? And we learned a lot about the missions world, missionaries, sending organizations, churches, people that donate, and missionaries that receive. We never had a sending church. We felt like God said, go do something, we would go do it. And we trusted God to provide along the way, and He always did. So we didn't have a lot of preconceived, this is the way it's done type of things, right? I didn't quit my job and go raise money and then get the insurance and get a sending church and then plan it out and go. I I quit my job and we went. Some might say flying by the seat of your pants, but I see it as like that's the way the disciples did it. And that's what God told us to do, right? I'm not against fundraising. I'm not against anything else, but I do think we should listen to what God's telling us and do what He tells us to. And it might be different from person to person and time to time, because even with one person, you might be told to go once, you might be told to raise money, then go once, right? Ultimately, are we listening to God? And so we learned a lot about the mission space. And there was very much if you're going to be a missionary, you quit your job, you raise money until you have 2 years worth of support, then you go, and only then can you go. Then you do what you're supposed to. And while you're doing missions work, you don't work because you shouldn't be raising money, or you shouldn't be earning money by working. You should be raising money by asking for it. And we saw so many people, we had donors tell us that when they donate to a missionary, they don't like to see them golfing, which means I give my hard earned money that I worked hard for, that's my money, to that missionary. And now I want to see that missionary doing God's work that I think is worthy of my money. There's an awful lot of control going on. And then there's missionaries. We had other friends, their whole life, I knew her, like we grew up together. Her whole life was going to be missions. Like everybody knew that's what she was doing. And she's been a missionary her entire life. She's living in the Dominican Republic with a family. God's blessed them with a nice house, which is only like $60,000 there, but it's really nice. And she told me before, she goes, we can't post pictures of our house because donors will stop giving because they're they think our house is too nice and we're living too nice as missionaries. And so we can't even tell our donors, about this nice house that we have. I'm like, so the blessings of God aren't being talked about because we're afraid of losing people's money. And we've got donors giving their money and trying to control the work of God because they gave money. And there's been this whole back and forth of like, I quit my job to go raise money from donors so I can do God's work. But then when it's time to go back to work, are we supposed to quit doing missions and we quit doing ministry so that we can just work, and we can't talk about God at our work, and we can't talk about work when we're doing God stuff? It's just this weird cultural little divide we have. What if we were people that had jobs and sold things, which is a biblical concept? Like most people
Yes.
own family businesses, right? Like, what if we had jobs? What if we had businesses? What if we sold stuff and we still talked about God in everything we did? Right? Like, what would be the problem with it? At all? The Bible doesn't say separate God and your work and be different in two different places. And so for me personally, it's like this is who I am, period. Which is why we talk about God and systems and software and everything else. We sell software. We make money off of the software you're paying for. It's a business. I'm not going to lie about it or be weird about it. Even though we're going to show up here and talk about God and say the whole reason I think this is important, the software is important, is because we can automate tasks so that we can spend more time with people instead of in the business, right? We could make more money off of automated systems that software allows us to use so that we can dig wells in other countries. Like, I think everything kind of works together. And so for me, there's not as much of oh, don't talk about God on your sales pages and don't talk about your sales on your God pages. To me, I'm like, if it's who you are and you preach and you teach about God and that's how you invest and it doesn't cost anything for anybody to come to those, they can come and they can learn about God and you're going to teach them whatever you know. And at the same time, you've got a book for sale sitting on your desk at the meeting. It doesn't bother me at all. They don't have to buy it. You're not saying if you don't buy my book, you can't hear my message. It's like there's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, here's this for sale. My book for sale. If you like what being around me and you like my personality, hey, this is for sale." A lot of people got scalability just because they trusted me because we're doing missions and we're leveraging technology and we take money out of the company and we give back to missions, and that's the reason they switched to our software. And so it's like, I think a lot of it is just our culture wanting to keep things separate, but I personally don't see any problem with it. Now, I don't tell people, "Hey, if you buy our software, your business will be blessed by God." It's like, no, that's
No,
blurring the
no,
lines
no.
there. That's
Yeah,
prosperity stuff. I don't do that. But
no.
but there's nothing wrong with selling and preaching in the same day in the same breath, in my opinion. Because if we live our lives for God, then even if you work for somebody else, you should be talking to people about Jesus and share your testimony when you're at the workplace, when you're at getting a car, when you're at the playground, when you're at the swimming pool, when you're at work, when you're in the missions field. Like, to me, it all runs together. I'm going to talk about business when
Hmm.
I'm on mission trips, and I'm going to talk about God in the marketplace.
Yeah. So I need to find it was a call to action that he felt he wanted to have that on the front
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
So there is a window that's coming up that's popping up after just a short while, but he wanted to have a call to action. So I need to make it in a way that's not disturbing, but still it's there, kind of way.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Well,
doesn't
and
scream.
yeah, and it'll depend on your audiences, your message and everything, of course, too, right? I'm more forward with mine. I'm more forward with my message. I'm okay if somebody just doesn't like me and leaves. I'm okay with that. Not everybody's
Yeah,
gonna like me, and that's okay. I want to find the people that see things the way I see things and are trying to push. Because I know I'm not right all the time, but I am going to push hard. I feel like God's given me a business to multiply, so I'm going to try and multiply it. I feel like
yeah.
God's given me people to disciple, so I'm going to try
Mm,
and multiply those. I'm going to try and make them to where they're capable of discipling other people, right? Like, I'm going to try and multiply everything God gave me. And those people who are around me in business space, here we are in Freedom Fridays of my business talking about multiplying what God gave us. I'm going to push everybody around me to multiply what God gave them because I personally feel like it's a command on our life. And so, because of that, the way I live that way, I want to push everybody around me that way. You're going to find the people that like you and like your voice and the way that you do things. And they're going to be like, "Oh, I love it. Oh, she's got a book. I want it. Oh, she's got a this. I want it. Oh, she has a course. I want to buy it.
mm,
I want to get into her mastermind and hang out with her more because you talk about God." And because you talk about business or whatever you talk about, some people will like you, some people won't. I have a lot of people that like me, a lot of people that don't. I'm okay with that. But there's
Mm,
enough people in the world that if I speak my message in my way and you speak yours in your way, you're going to attract people. I'm going to attract people. And as long as we're not afraid to speak the way God's called us to speak and to be who God's created us to be, then we'll both be reaching more people because the people that don't like me, they might like you. And so I'm always challenging people. I'm like, get it out there and speak it, whatever your message is, right? I talk about God stuff because this is me. This is who I am. So I use it as an example. If it has nothing to do with God for you and it's all about helping, I don't know, lifeguards be the best lifeguard they could ever be. Okay, then speak your message with authority and try to multiply it. Like, be that all the time so that you attract the right people to you and everybody else leaves. And
mm,
it will help you. If it's ministry, you're going to get more people following the way you follow. If it's business, you're going to get more people building that business the way you're teaching them to build it. But you have to
mm,
get your message, your voice, and then like don't be afraid to push it out there. And in the ministry space or in the God space, there's a lot of separation. And I personally just don't believe there should be as much separation. I didn't quit doing missionary work. People go, "Oh, you used to do missions. What do you do now?" I'm like, "I still do missions. It's just in the marketplace. I own a software company." It's like
yeah.
I'm still doing missions in my mind. I didn't quit doing
Mm,
missions to go back to work.
mm,
And at that time, I did quit my job to go do missions, but that's because I couldn't be a police officer while working in Thailand. I mean, like,
mm,
it didn't work well together, There was I
mm,
have to quit to go do this thing God's called me to do. Now
mm,
we have a software company. I can go anywhere and do anything that God tells me to do, and I'm still going to be able to have the software company. And so now it works even more. I've just learned how to bring the two together so that I can talk about God and be who I am without having to put on a face for social media and then put on a face for church and put
mm,
on a face for whatever. It's like, this is who I am. And I want people to get to know me so that we can push and drive people to grow into who they're created to be and who they believe they are and target their audiences and everything else. Because even if we're wanting to reach people for Jesus, we're still going to target an audience. We have to find people who are interested. We have to go out and talk to
yeah,
them. If you got a business, you got to find people who want to buy your thing. And then you got to go out and talk to them or create the marketing that brings them in. And those same principles work for building ministry, building business. It's finding the people. The Bible says the person of peace.
mm,
He sent them out. They went into town. They found the person of peace and they spent time with them. It's like, doesn't matter what it is. We're finding the right people and we're pouring into those people with all the
yeah,
message. So I could rant about that
yeah.
all day, but I'll try to stop.
Yeah, yes. Well, my website's name is Identity in Christ, so it's very clear what it's all about. So,
Right?
so the
There's
message
nothing
is
wrong
quite
with
clear.
having a book that you've written for sale on the
No,
same page.
no.
It's like, hey, here's our free stuff and here's our paid stuff. People can choose what they want. And if they get offended and leave, it's okay. Honestly, it's an immaturity on their part.
Mm,
It's like if I get offended by someone else doing something differently than the way I like it, that's an immaturity for me. This is something I've learned and had to grow through myself throughout the years. So I'm not giving anybody else a hard time, but this is something God's shown me over time. We were a part of a home fellowship, like house planting movement, house churches, and we found a lot of people with hurt towards the big church on the corner. Like the
mm,
big churches are doing it wrong. They got a pastor who's speaking and they're not discipling anybody. And then home church is the way. And then at the exact same time, we were actually hosting ministries and on the pastoral leadership team in a big church. So we were in the big church and we were in the house church movement. And then we had friends who had come to both with us at different times. And they were they were strong, super strong believers in go out, heal people, cast out demons, baptize them, and and then send them off. Like they didn't disciple long term either. They were very much like roaming around all the time. And they were
mm,
straight up commanding healing and watching people be healed. Like they were bringing people to Christ. The house fellowship was all about sitting with people in the living room and like that was right, right? They
Mm,
would kind of had a disagreement with the people that were going out and healing people and casting out demons and bringing people to God because they wouldn't sit there and disciple them. And I just thought it's an immaturity in all three areas, right? If we want to grow in Christ, it's an immaturity in all three areas. Because if I'm saying you got to go around and cast out demons and heal people and bring people to Christ and baptize them, that's what we're supposed to do. But then you don't disciple, you're missing something.
mm,
And if you think someone else is doing it wrong because they're spending all their time in the living room, you're missing something. But then if you're in the living room seeing like they're healing people, but they're not actually discipling them and turning them into disciple makers. And there's kind of this butting heads about the way people are doing things. But look at it this way. What if the people who went out and healed people and cast out demons and saved people then introduced them to the house church?
mm,
And the house church discipled them. And both of them were playing their role in the body. And now people were being saved and discipled.
mm, mm,
But what about the people who are sitting at home and they think, I don't know God, I don't know anything about it, I've never been to church, and I'm at the end of my rope and I'm getting ready to kill myself. And this is a Saturday night, and they go, you know what? If if there's a God out there and he's real, then he needs to come through for me. And they take off walking down the street and they see the big church on the corner and they decide to wander into the building and they hear the message and the message and the pastor then tells them get connected to a home fellowship, which was the house church. If the house church wasn't against the big church, and the people that wanted to commit suicide would never find the home church because they're not a big church on the corner. Like all
mm.
these things work together. And it's an
Yes.
immaturity if we think it's our way and somebody else is doing it wrong. Are there people doing things wrong? Absolutely. Are we all going to get it right? Absolutely not. We're a bunch of sinful people trying to do the best we can. But the immaturity comes when we judge each other instead of looking at each other and going, how can we work with that person? How can I help that person
Mm,
win and help, help? How can I work with them? And so I personally don't get offended by people that are like, don't like the way I'm doing things. I think it's perfectly fine because
mm,
they're going to be right in ways. I'm going to be right in ways. We're both going to be wrong in ways. And I think it's simply it lets us see right off the bat if we can work with people or not. Because
mm.
if somebody goes, Aaron, you shouldn't be talking about God and selling stuff at the same time. I literally had somebody the other day said they saw my website and they thought it was blasphemous because I
Okay.
said something about God created for 6 days and we should try to create and then automate so that we could spend time in relationship too.
Mm,
I'm like, blasphemy is insulting God, not just trying to model what he does. But it's an immaturity, right? It's just us not understanding. Maybe I fully don't understand. I'm perfectly okay with I might be the one that's wrong. But it simply highlights and shows us that me and that person aren't going to be able to work together,
yeah.
right? Unless we're able to come to a thing. But if they're just offended and they think it's horrible and they run the other way, it's like it just separates things for us. So if God's given you a book message and God's given you a teaching message and they're side by side,
Yeah.
put them side by side. They're both from God, and your boat
Yes.
your heart is for God. You'll attract the right people, and you'll run off the ones that are just not ready for a conversation about it and don't really want to advance the kingdom. They just are like offended by everything. And honestly, it'll make your life easier if those people turn and run because they won't be there talking smack in the comments every time.
Thank you. Thank you
But
so much. We
I
will
hope it's helpful. I
leave.
hope I didn't ramble too much, but this is a passionate subject for mine. I have a
Yeah.
nonprofit
Yes.
organization and the whole thing spawned off of this, watching
Yeah.
people be afraid to talk about the blessings that God has given them because they're afraid of losing donors' money and donors thinking they're controlling the work of God because they're giving their hard-earned money instead of recognizing their money is a gift from God and they're giving where God told them. And so this is definitely a passionate rabbit hole of mine that I could go down for a long time. So I want to make sure we get to these other people here too so I can help you guys and not just
Yes. Thank you.
talk at you the whole time. But Ralph, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm not making very much progress on finishing the scalability platform. Keep getting have I work on it, and then it's like other projects come up and other life gets in the way. But then I come back to it. I'm relearning over and over and over. So I'm at the point where I'm going to meet with a coder that's familiar with a lot of different systems. And he said, well, I look at it and see how I can help. And but yeah, just trying to get everything complete and functioning properly to where we can automate it and be
Yeah.
done.
Remind me again of what you're building or what you're wanting to do.
It's a kind of like a platform to where we're reaching new people to come learn how to be Americans living on the land and soil jurisdiction. But a lot of it is setting up the funnels to where it helps them complete paperwork process, get involved in the community and the county and at the local level, and also hold offices in the call it our lawful government.
Mm-hmm.
So the communities are important, the library is important, the courses are important, and just building all that to where people have a place to go to get up to date information and just education research.
Gotcha. Is it links to other people's stuff? Like, is it links to websites to where they can come to your community? They can find the links to all the things, and then they could like download paperwork and do things and have videos from you teaching them how to do that paperwork, stuff like that. Just bringing it all to one place.
Right.
Okay. Are
Yes.
you going to charge people to be in this community thing, or is this a free thing you're putting out? What is it?
It's a free thing, but I'm looking at different courses and different aspects to charge and access to maybe certain communities within the community platform.
Okay. Um, So I would think so. The way I look at this and the way I think of this is like two communities. There's a free group where it's like, join my group. We've got all these resources for you. And there's links to different places that they need to know and a few videos from you or weekly interaction or whatever. Think of it like a Facebook group because we're all familiar with those, right? There's a space where people come together, you interact, you can share resources and stuff. Well, with scalability, you can build your communities in there as well, right? Where people can come and log into the platform and they can be inside your free community, and you can have links and videos. You can put together full training courses where you record like 10 videos and plug them in there. So when they come to the free group, they get that. And in that group, you sell the paid membership. So two groups, one's free, one's paid, right? And the paid one just has more resources and more teachings and trainings and things from you and other people. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's
So,
what I was segmenting it like a public facing group, and then it's
and then the paid one. Yeah,
yes,
the upsell. Yep, exactly.
right.
And inside the free one, you upsell to the paid one, right? Because
Hmm.
anybody who's interested is going to come into the free one first. You get like a name, phone number, email. So you build a list by letting them into that free group. And then inside that group, you say, hey, we have this paid group. A funnel for that would look like a landing page, right? Like a funnel landing page that just talks about get access to all of our free resources and links all in one place by joining our group today. Enter your name and email to join our group. So just a landing page that just talks about kind of, explaining what you were telling me. It's important to us that we teach you how to do these things. So we've put together a group with all these resources, links to these things, the right paperwork you need, training videos on this. Join now for free. And when they join now in scalability, you're going to have a funnel website, like a funnel page, and then you're going to have a form. So create a form that is just name, email, phone number, and that form will be on that funnel page. Okay, so in the design elements on the funnel page, you can put a form and you just select that form and it'll put it right on that page. Okay, then when they name, email, and submit to join the group, it just goes to the second step of the funnel, and that's like a thank you page. Tells them to check their email, and you have that form trigger an automation to send them an email, send them a text, and you could even take them to an upsell page right then. Instead of a thank you page, you say, hey, we also have a paid group. Upgrade to our paid group for $50 a month, $20 a month, whatever it is. Essentially, it's like sales page for the free thing to collect a name and email and phone number so you can reach out to them again. And then you take them to a paid page where they can upgrade into the paid group. Or you just take them in the free group and then you reach out to them to sell them the other one. Kind of depends on how much it is. But sales videos are good. So if they hit that page and they see a video of somebody saying, hey, this is our goal and this is what we want to help you accomplish, and we put together all these resources, you can join us today for free. Name, phone number, email, they join. Goes to a thank you page. On the thank you page is like, hey, thanks for joining the free group. Here's how you get access, or check your email to see how you get access. And then they'll go into that, right? They'll check their email, they'll see the automation, how they can get into that free group. And then inside the free group, you upsell to the paid group. But inside there, it's like one funnel and the automation that's like selling them and then upselling them. And then the automation is just like the welcome email, text, giving them access. And then you've got two groups, the free group, paid group. And we
Right.
can help you with that stuff if you want as well. You feel free to shoot us a message so you don't have to find coders and things, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I was looking into that to see if you had like some assistants, people that were really good at it. I'd pay them to
Yeah.
help
Yeah,
develop it.
we do full done for you on everything. So like I said, Fridays isn't for us just to pitch you on anything, but we do that because everything we do is to try to help you win with it. So we're going to try and offer as much as we can, right? Freedom Fridays is for everybody who's like doing stuff themselves. It's like, how do we coach you and help you make it all work? But at anytime you can shoot us a message or respond to anything we send you, and we can build everything for you. So we try to get everything in one place. We're always working on smoothing out the process and making it better. But we can talk about that more later too.
Right. Yeah, that'd be great to do.
Okay, cool. Any other questions I can answer for you, serve for you right now then?
No, that's it.
Okay.
I'm tired of starting over.
Understood. Understood. This is for everybody doing anything. Like, get a clear picture of what you're trying to do. Even just take a piece of paper, draw boxes on it where it's like landing page, name, email, button. Just draw a picture of it. Then draw an arrow over, right? To a thank you page. The thank you page does what? Tells them to go to the group and triggers an automation. Like, if you just draw little arrows off your box, it'll help you be able to see kind of what you're doing. I send people to this website, it triggers this automation, sends them to a thank you page. And then inside this group, I interact every Friday at 11:30 CST. And inside there, I do this. And this is the link I share in there for my upsell thing. And it takes them to this page. If you guys draw that out on a piece of paper, like, there's techie things you can do. There's things like Funnelytics is a paid software that lets you digitally do this and map things out with graphs. But to keep it simple for everybody, take a pen and paper and write stuff out. If you got a whiteboard on your wall, write it out where you can see it. If it's paper, put it on your desk where you can see it and look at it regularly so you know that's what I'm building. That will help with the shiny object, of like jumping around to the next thing, because you'll be able to see the picture of the steps you're trying to build and the funnel process you're trying to take people through. And that'll help keep you focused on like building the things you need to instead of starting over. Right.
Right.
So just a thought. It's all right, Barrett. We're enjoying it. Do your thing. Do your thing.
I found this thing I've been looking for, but I don't know where I'm putting it. And I have a consultation in 45 minutes, so this should be fun.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, these are live for this. It's more fun when it's live. So,
Oh my gosh.
Ralph, does that help?
Yes, it does. And I've kind of started one.
Okay. Whoops, we lost you. There we
Yeah.
go. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, it gives you at least an idea of what you're building. Good.
right. Yeah.
Okay,
So
good. That's the first thing we do with every single person that is we get in and I get on strategy call and that's what I'm doing. I'm like drawing it out and then we take it into a digital format and then we start building the pieces.
yeah.
Focus on those though, like really work on that picture, that graph, that layout, that flow. It's a customer journey is what it is. You know, they're going to come into this page, then they're going to go here and here and here. And like that customer journey needs to be the thing you focus on all the time. Because every time you switch it, you're starting over, like you said. And it takes time. Give it time so that you can learn and go deeper. And then, like you were saying, you get into scalability, you do some stuff, and then you take off, you know, and then you have to come back to it and you're kind of relearning. I tell people all the time, this is really hard to do, but dedicate 30 minutes every day to getting into scalability and just poking buttons. You'll get so used to where things are that you'll learn it so much faster. But if we do it every 2 weeks for 4 hours, you know, 4 hours is good time. But then if it's 2 weeks before you do it again, we have a tendency to go, oh, where was the thing? But just 30 minutes each day, you'll learn where everything is so fast that you'll start to get more of a feel of like when something goes wrong, you know where to go to check it because you've just poked buttons so much. So like try to block out, you know, 15, 30 minutes each day to get in there, poke buttons and work your way around. You'll start learning where stuff is and it'll just get smoother and easier for you. Cool.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. That
You're very,
helps.
you're very welcome. I'll shoot you a message after this too and see how we can help you out. All right. Barrett, you said you have a call and coming up, so I want to make sure I get to you. And then I see Joe. If you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself too, or raise your hand or something and let me know. That way I know you're here because I want to. The whole point of Freedom Fridays is to make sure I serve you, is to help you move forward with where you're stuck. Okay, so like we have tech support to help with some of the tech stuff, but sometimes it doesn't answer all the questions. So here I want to make sure I unstuck you and take the time if you guys are stuck on something. So this is the place to raise your hand and ask questions.
All right,
Barrett,
so
you're unmuted already. How can I help you?
all right, let me get back to where you now. I just lost you. Holy
Now that you're settled a little bit.
yeah, supposedly. Okay, so I was going to ask about in scalability the store. Is that working, hooked up, active?
The store as like starting an e-com store or something?
Well, there's a tab at the top that says online store. I'll click over there too. And you know, I've got that cookbook that I sell through Gumroad, which is awesome. It's way
Mhm.
better than Amazon in terms of, you know, they only take 10%,
Mhm.
but this would be obviously far less. If I ran it through Stripe, then it's just a couple bucks, you know?
Right. Yep.
So I was kind of looking at that, but when I click on the store, it won't let me add anything. So I don't know if that's something I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, it is basically that's our e-commerce stores section, right? So if you click, it's for those of you who are wondering, when you're logged in scalability, you click sites on the left, stores at the top. That's how you're going to create an e-commerce store. And so you would still go into payments on the left and products at the top to create your products.
Okay.
Okay. So when you go to payments on the left, products at the top, create your product. When you create a new product, the very first thing you'll see clear at the top is a little toggle, a little like radio side to side toggle thing that
Oh,
says include in the online store.
yeah.
Yep. So if you created 50 products and you toggled that to include on the online store, then you go to stores and create your store, you can drop all those products right in there and have an e-com store. That's the
Okay.
way that works. So
Perfect.
yes, it's live and working. It just, like everything else, there's a process of learning how the pieces fit together.
All right. I'm going to ask you something incredibly dumb because I can't look this way, but I'm telling you, the Zoom thing's going to kill me. Am I looking at you guys?
You are. You got us.
See, I've got to now I'm looking at all of you, but if I come this way, I'm
Right.
looking at the
Are
camera.
you using your phone still for like the camera?
I'm gonna have to when I take this consultation, but this that I'm
Yep.
looking at now is one of those little Logitech you know, little ones you put on top of your computer, which mine
Okay.
won't. So, yeah, I emailed the people I'm going to meet with this morning and said, would you rather have a phone call? Maybe they're like, no. So anyway, so that was my one thing was the store. And then I need to know the process of like, I've got to get my second one up and running.
hmm
I'm doing I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So you know how you made my one
Yep.
and then my second one I'm supposed to duplicate. Well, the pictures that appear to be like there, I'm having trouble changing them out. I added more pictures into the upload so that they're
Okay.
available for me where you had put all the
Yep.
pictures.
Yep. In the
And
media library.
I don't know how to pull them off of there.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, because
So when you
I
go
don't want
into, yep, when you go
to,
into the funnel, or when you go
uh-huh.
into your funnel, your website, your editor, right, where you're changing the stuff on the page. I'm
Yep.
looking over here because I'm thinking in my mind.
I'm
When
not
you
even looking at anybody. So, yep.
when you click on the photo in your funnel, right, that you want to change, click on the actual picture, the photo in the funnel, the web designer that you want to change. On the
All right.
right side, all the settings pop up. If you scroll down towards the bottom of your settings, you'll see there's like an image thing. Actually, let me pull up. I think I have a demo account. I have a demo account open. Hold on a second.
Okay. So I went into the edit screen and I can edit all the writing with no problem, but it's the pictures that I can't get edited.
Okay, I'll show you. This will be faster. All right, here we go. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so if we click on sites on the left, and then these are just two demos that I have. I'm going to go into the builder here for one of them. I'll click edit and go into the editor here. So this right up here is a photo, right? If I click on that to edit it, the settings pop up here on the right side.
Right.
If you scroll down, you see image options right here.
Yep.
Right there, if you click on that little photo to the right, it opens up your media library.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see all the photos, and then just double click on the one that you want to add and it'll drop it in there.
You know, in the background though, Aaron, because you know how you
Okay, so
did,
you're wondering about like the background image instead of just the photo like that?
well, like in particular mine, you have all those pictures of Florida kind of fanned out behind me.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah, yeah.
rid of.
Okay, that one is one big picture. That's why you can't change all the individual ones. Okay, so
Okay.
that's good. That helped clarify a lot. We custom made that as one big picture for you. So you won't be able to change individual images. It would change the whole picture or nothing.
Okay. All
So
right. That's
that's,
okay. I can put one picture behind it. I'm
yeah,
fine with that.
yeah, there you
Okay.
go.
All right.
Yeah, I
All right.
was like, it should just swap them out for you, but like that makes sense because that one was a custom made one.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. I'm gonna.
Each one of your sections, though, too, as you guys move around inside of your editor for funnels, websites, whatever, you'll see the green box around the outside, right? Kind of highlights. Inside the green box, there's a blue box. Inside the blue box, there's like purple boxes. Inside the purple boxes, there's like orange elements, right? As you hover your mouse around, you'll see those. The green, the blue, the purple, the orange, each one of those is a separate section. And you can click in the green, the settings pull up on the right side, and you'll see image options or colors. And you can add an image and it will change the background image for the green section. Then you'll still have blue, purple, yellow on top of the green section. And it'll be the background image, right? So you can set photos as a background image for the whole big green section, or a little bit smaller for just inside the blue section. Or you can just add a photo that sits right on top of all those things to where it's just like a photo stamped on the page. Does that make sense? I
Yes.
see some wheels turning, and that's okay. It's a lot of people struggle with that at the first. They're like, well, I see how to switch the photo, but I don't know how to change the background image. And so what I'm talking about is this back here. I share my screen again. You see how when I move my mouse around, we've got like this green square here that shows up? And then if I move in, you see the blue square, and I
Mhm.
move in, it's purple. And then inside there, there's these orange ones, the elements, right? This is the orange box pops up around this. So this is a photo. If I click on that, I'm changing just that photo. But if I bring my mouse out here to where I highlight this green section and I click on that, now over here on the right, you see this background media right here and that photo? I could choose to drop a photo in there and it'll put it behind the whole background.
Yeah, what I can't get, I still can't do it. I'm trying to change what would basically be your guy behind the welcome subscription when I'm not, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I can't change it.
On which picture was it?
Go on yours.
Oh, on in here? Or no, the one that you're trying to change. You're trying to change one in your funnel, right?
Exactly. But I can't there. Okay. So if you look at my picture and then when I go, when I hover over, like you said, to get rid of that background image, when I try to do that, even if I hit the trash can, I disappear, but not, oh, wait, it's purple. Hold on. Wait.
And there you go. It's
Nope.
like make sure you're clicking out in the green section
All right,
and
now
then you
my
could
whole
delete the
thing,
photo.
the green, you said it's got to be green.
The green section, yep. When you hover your mouse out towards the outside edge, you'll see the green pop up. If you're
Okay.
talking about like the whole beach image across the back,
No, it just did it wrong again. I'm talking about me. So you see the pier, the palm trees, and then I look like I'm an overlay over it. I'm trying to get rid of the pier and the palm trees because that wouldn't fit with food. So if I click
oh, I
that,
got you. Okay, again, those are the custom photos again.
okay,
Yep.
even
So
me.
yeah, so on yours, since you're specifically talking about like the ones that you're that we have on yours, the photo with like you and then the pictures kind of coming out from the sides and the lines around it, that's all
Uh-huh.
one picture that we custom made for you.
All right,
So
so I
like,
would have to delete my whole self and everything behind
yeah, you
it.
would delete that whole picture and you have to put in a new picture. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what you're seeing there is that's the reason you can't change those because that when you hover over that picture, you see it puts the orange box around the whole thing.
Yep.
That tells you that's all one picture. So that's
Okay.
yeah, so you'd have to like put in a whole new picture.
All right. So then would I hover
The
over?
bottom one's the same. We made the custom image for you in the bottom too.
Okay. So if I want to, now all I have there is blank space off to the
hmm
right because
hmm
we disappeared it. Then from there, I go down to media, the big media on the right.
Yep.
And one. Okay. All
Yep.
right.
You could go to the media on the right, and then when you select a picture, it'll drop it back in there.
Oh, wow. But it's massively huge.
So it dropped it into the background section. So in the top right corner, there's an undo button.
Uh-huh.
Click the little undo button, it'll bring it back. Or you can
Yep.
just save it, or I mean, don't save it and just exit. And then when you come back in, it'll just reset it. If those custom images that we clicked or that we put in there for you, just click on the custom image and then down off to the right, you would select a new image and it'll swap it out. You don't want to delete it. If you delete the image, then you have to click on the plus in the top left corner and add an element back in. So I'll show
Okay.
you guys that. I'll show you guys that real quick so that we're clear.
So
Because this is what's
also,
that?
Aaron, just because I'm sure other people will have this same problem, you must have shrunk my pictures because when I use what's in there, they're huge, like one part of like this,
So
you
if
know?
we're depending on where we put them, yep. So let me show you because exactly lots of people have this same question, same problem. So these are good. These are good because lots of people struggle with this. So just so you know, you're not alone. But then two, it's good for us to review it. So this right here, you see if you're looking at my screen, you have an image right here where, do you mind if I share a picture of your website right now?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So she's looking at her website right here. She's looking at this image, right? And so we custom made this as one photo. We put the background images and everything. So when she hovers over that, she's seeing like this, one orange box around the whole outside of that image, right? So if you click on that image, then the settings over here on the right are for this orange box only. And so then I can click on the image here, pick a different photo, and change that photo out. Now, if I deleted that, if I go, oh, I don't want that photo there, and I hover over this orange and I click the orange and delete it, now it's got this purple box and just an add element thing right here, right? If I just click in there, now I'm adding a photo to the purple box, not a photo stamped on there like what was there. So if I click this and say I come down to the media and I select a photo, this is what you're talking about. It's a big photo and you're like, what just happened? Because it's not filling the box. Because now it's trying to fill the purple section or the purple column instead of just putting the whole photo there. So here on the right side, just below the media, you'll see where it says full center parallax. If you click on that little drop down there, you can see full center, fill width, height, and things like that. When you select this, it's going to change the format around that box.
Perfect.
If I come to full width, it's going to stretch it to fill the width, and it might look funny up and down depending on the photo. So like if you had a tall, skinny photo and this purple box was wide, it's still going to fill the width and the top and the bottom of your photo would be cut off. So you can kind of toggle through these and see which one looks right. But let's say that's not what you meant to do. I can click right here on the media, just highlight that and delete that photo. So that purple box is empty again, right? So let's say I wanted to put a photo back in there, like what was there. I click on this add element. This pops up here on the left. And here is where you can insert headline text, paragraphs, and then right here you'll see video and image. If I wanted to put a photo, I click image, and now it's got that orange box there again. And now I can click the media here, upload it, and it's inside that orange box, and there's a sizing right underneath it, height and width, if you wanted to change the size.
Okay.
Okay. But if you don't change the size, it'll just fill up, but it'll make sure the whole image shows in that box because it's a photo. It's not filling in the purple section. I know that's
Yep.
kind of it's a different setting, but once you kind of get the feel for it, it'll work through the whole website. So each one of these is that way. If I clicked on the purple section down here, it's going to make a photo fill in that purple section behind my text. Same with the green or the blue or anything like that. Does that clarify that a little more?
It does. Yeah, it does for me. Yep.
Okay. On yours here, this image here is all one photo because we custom did it for you. This image here is all one big photo. You should see an orange box around the whole things. And then this one is too. So like we made them all to match and made them custom for you.
Okay.
So that's why you can't change like the background images and things. It's all one big picture.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. See what, oh, you can't see that. I'm looking at it. All right, good. Okay, thank you. I'm going to go prepare for my consultation.
Yep. Good luck with your consult.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Does that strike any other questions, or does anybody else have anything else you want to talk about, or kind of like play off of what we were just going through with her? Does it bring anything up for you guys?
I try to move columns because I've been working on like tweaking, and I got a feedback then from last night that the words, the testimonies, they will okay. Don't hear.
No, you're okay. We can hear you. I was saying goodbye to Ralph. Go ahead, finish. You said you were
Yeah.
trying to move things around in the funnel and kind of struggling
Yes,
with where they
yes,
go.
because now I'm thinking that because if I need to have larger letters, then perhaps now there are three boxes somewhere, and sometimes they are under. So I need to move the boxes, so there are columns. So I need to change the columns, and yeah. So I wasn't sure. I didn't find out how to do that the other day
Okay.
when I tried to make a change.
I got you. Yeah, there's lots of settings in here, and it kind of like once you get the feel for them, then you figure it out. But it takes a little bit to get the wheelhouse going. And if you guys like, everybody's going to build landing pages. So when I say get in, spend 30 minutes each day poking around in scalability, it's like landing pages. So like funnel pages and the designer, the editor like this, and then automations. Those two areas, if you spend time building automations and getting a feel for it and how it works, and you spend time in the editor like this, just moving things around on some test play funnel, right? Then you're going to be able to, um, you're really going to be able to start learning to build the things that you're going to use over and over and over. Because, like I talk about all the time, I like funnels that sell instead of websites that inform, right? A funnel to me is one page, it only talks about one thing. Join the membership, buy the book, get the thing, whatever. And if they don't, they just leave. There's no links to social media and everything else. That's a sales funnel. The only thing it talks about is the one thing. And then the a website is something that talks about everything. It's there to inform people, right? Here's my book you can buy. Here's my course you can join. Here's my membership you can join. Here's my free thing you can get. Here's what I'm all about. Links to your social media, everything on one thing. I call that a website. Websites inform, funnels sell. But either way, at some point in your business, as it grows, you may have 2 or 3 different products. So you'd have a sales page for each one of them, right? And then maybe one website that talks about all three as like a rapport builder you can send people to later, right? And so it's good to learn your funnels and how to build them, and then your automations and things and how to build those. So inside of here, the main concept, actually, let's jump out. I'm going to show you guys from scratch here since we're in a demo account. And I'm just going to do this super quick because I showed you there as you move your mouse around how the sections and stuff are. But let's go new funnel in the top right. And if you guys just want to play and learn, there's 2 ways. You can grab a template that's already built, like what I just showed you guys there. You can hover your mouse around and you can play with things and see what it does. Add, change the font size, slide stuff around, see what happens. That's a good way to learn. Or you can start from scratch with just an empty blank page. So this one I'm going to show you. Let's start from blank and we'll just call it test, create. Now, when you come in here, you're going to have a blank page, right? So we're going to add a new step. And right here, we'll just call it test again. When you create that, it's going to give you a page to edit, like what we were just in, but it's going to be empty. Okay, so right here, we create from blank, and it's going to take us straight into the editor. And now this is just like the site that I was just showing you guys, but it's just completely white. And so you have to start from scratch. This kind of gives you an idea of how to build the sections, right? Build the pages and how they go together. Let me refresh this real quick. Okay, so when you see right here, it brings us into the page and it pops this up, add a section, right? In the top left corner, you see add elements, and that plus is selected, and then there's this here. So this allows you to add the green box. You're going to add a green box, and then inside the green is blue. Inside the blue are the elements and things, right? So if I go full width, it's going to go all the way out to the far edges of the page. And then inside here, we'll add a row. And here you can choose 1 row, 2 rows, or columns, 2 columns, 3 columns, 4, 5, 6. So let's go 3. And it adds a blue box with 3 purple boxes inside of it. Well, let's say I decide I only need 2 of these. You can just come in here and you can hover over it, delete that, and it'll change it to 2 purple boxes. If you're like, you know what? I just want 1 long box. Okay, just delete it. If you decide you want to, just come over to the top right and clone it, and it'll make 2. So that's how we can take one blue box, the column, and break it up into rows if we need to. If we're wanting to duplicate these, we can just duplicate them in the top right. Now we've got 2 blue boxes with 2 purples in each one. So this is how you can move them around, right? Because now I can I can shuffle these by saying I want this one with 3 boxes on top of that one. I just hover over it and click this arrow and it'll move it up top. Now I got 3 up top and 2 in here. I delete this and go, you know what? I want a long headline. So I'm going to add an element and it brings up the stuff over here where you can do headline, subheadline, buttons, forms, images, videos, things like that. So let's say I want to do a headline. And then right underneath that, I want to do a video. So I could click this little plus and it'll bring this up again. Click the video. And now I've got a headline with a video. Like, but I want these 3 like big bonus 1, bonus 2, bonus 3 underneath the video. So I can just hover over this blue one and click that arrow and it'll drop that blue one down underneath here. So is this kind of what you're talking about with like moving things around?
Well, then now I have a website that is made, so it's about moving sections from 3 to 1. So in a way, it is. So I perhaps just need to try it out. But I was thinking about the video, as you said, video. Do I make a video in Scalability?
Nope, you would record your video and then upload it to Scalability.
Okay.
Yep, you can't record videos with Scalability, but you would upload them to the media library. So over here on the left, you see media storage. If you click on media storage, you can upload your video there. So I always tell people use Zoom or Loom or your cell phone or whatever it is, record your video and then upload it here so that it's natively hosted inside of Scalability.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
When you guys have sites, so if you guys have somebody's building your site for you and you're like, I want to make changes, but I don't want to mess up the site they did while you're learning, right? Let's say somebody else built home buying leads for me right here. So like you have Roger building you a website. Roger gets done. It's right there. You're like, this is awesome, but Roger's done. And now you're like, okay, now I need to add this thing or change this stuff around or move it, right? But you're afraid to go in there and mess it up. Just come to the 3 dots off to the right. Click clone and clone it.
Where did you go? I didn't see that.
Oh, sorry. Click to the 3 dots off to the right.
Okay, yeah.
If you click on, let's say this is the one Roger built, go to the 3 dots and then clone. Okay, so if you hit clone, now here you can say it's the home buying leads website, but it's my test copy. Confirm it. It's going to rebuild that exact same one that he built for you. But now you can open up and make all the changes you want to this one, and it's not going to mess up your live site that he built for you. And then when you're comfortable with it and you're like, oh, yeah, that's the way I want it to look, you could jump into the one that he built and make just that change to make it look the way you want without to where you have some confidence in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that helpful?
Yes.
Good.
So Shane he made for one of the sites within Scalability, he made it. So I could try it there because that's one he made for trying out new things. So yeah.
Yep, exactly. Same thing. Set yourself 30 minutes each day, get in there, play with it, move stuff around, like design funnels from scratch, to take templates, copy ones that are in there, make changes. Like you're going to learn so much by clicking on something and then changing settings and watching what it does. Like that's the best way, because you can watch videos of me doing it all day long, but you have to get in there and just start poking buttons. And a lot of people are afraid to get in there, poke the buttons. I'm like, no, get in there and poke the buttons.
Oh, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Well, hey, as always, thank you for your time. For those of you watching on YouTube or on the replay, thank you for your time. I promise I'll do my best to never waste your time because I know it's the only thing you can never get back. So every Freedom Friday we'll be here. I'll make sure I'm getting to your questions. And if you're watching on the replays, put your questions in the comments. We will get to those questions. If you're on YouTube, put your questions in the comments. We will get to them. And I like all feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. Don't worry. I'm not going to get offended. I like it. It helps us get better. So put it in the comments and we'll make sure that we adjust. But have an awesome